Welcome back to DarkNight Whispers. Tonight you'll board a midnight commuter train that no longer appears on public timetables. It departs once a decade, keeps moving long after its passengers realize the track ahead has been abandoned for 50 years. And if you're unlucky, doesn't stop until it reaches the last station on the wrong side of the timetable. Settle in, dim the lights, and decide. Would you pull the emergency brake if you knew no one lived along the route anymore? Paige Lorimer's last night in Chicago should have been ordinary. Finish her bartending shift near Union Station, grab the 12:15 to Joliet, pack the U-Haul in the morning, and drive west to start grad school. But an electrical fire shut down the southwest suburban line, and trackside screens erupted with crimson, canceled banners. Commuters cursed, taxi lines nodded, and Paige's new life felt suddenly out of reach. While scanning alternate routes, she spotted an unassuming white poster taped below a Track 17 closed placard. Special replacement service, departure 040. Track 17 gives Dells Crossing, gives Whisper Falls, gives Dunham Terminal. Day of tickets purchased on board, the towns weren't on any current Metro map. But her phone insisted Dunham Terminal lay within 10 miles of her stepdad's farm, the same place. She'd stowed half her childhood books. Good omen, she reasoned. Midnight bled toward last call. Paige slipped into the unlit concourse of Track 17. Iron beams trembled under freight gusts. No ticket agent, no waiting passengers. Only a dire smell of stale coffee and the hush of a platform that hadn't seen crowds in a generation. A single rail car sat beyond the yellow line. Pre-war stainless steel, windows opaque with grime. A conductor emerged from Shadow's navy coat, brass buttons, and a paper cap so crisp it seemed starched. He held out a ticket clipper. "Dells Crossing?" Paige asked. "On the way," he answered in a voice that felt older than rails. "One-way cash fare, miss." She paid. The conductor punched 3 precise holes triangle pattern into a blank cardstock ticket. The stub read admit passenger 04. Paige noticed no passenger 001-003 in sight. Inside, the compartment glowed sepia, like film warmed by projector bulbs. Upholstery, faded buttergreen velvet. Luggage racks, brass, polished. Curved ceiling, riveted steel. 8 passengers, scattered and silent. Paige took a window seat opposite a pale woman knitting a crimson scarf. Across the aisle, a bespectacled man muttered calculus proofs while filling a ledger of empty columns. 2 teenagers slept slumped together, earbuds trailing into tangled pockets. The final trio sat front row, a middle-aged businessman pinching a pocket watch, a gray-haired Latin professor marking essays, and a small boy hugging a taxidermied ferret. No one spoke. The car smelled faintly of cedar and coal. Seat thunk, couplers locked. Far ahead, an unseen locomotive belched steam or some imitation. The car lurched. Station lamps slid past, brick arches dissolved into night. Paige checked her phone. 12:40 a.m., battery 77%, signal dead. A placard flickered above the door. Next STOP Dells Crossing. Paige typed a text to her roommate anyway. On train. Track 17 replacement. See you tomorrow. A buffering wheel spun. The message failed. Outside, the rail yard's sodium lamps dwindled to black prairie. Moonlight silvered switchgrass as the train gathered improbable speed faster than any commuter service. Paige's ears popped. Somewhere ahead, a whistle cried. 3 ascending notes, shriller than diesel horns. Paige glanced around. None of the fellow travelers lifted an eye. Only the child's taxidermy ferret stared back glass marbles, catching lamplight like tiny warning beacons. 33 minutes later, the train screeched into a Station 1 wooden platform. A water tower half collapsed, no town. Paige prepared to disembark, but doors stayed locked. Outside, snow-covered tracks, though it was August, cottonwood seeds. No ice crystals swirling like restless moths. The conductor paced past, coat him swirling. "Dell's Crossing," he announced to no one. The pale knitter rose, folded her scarf, and approached the vestibule. Doors opened only for her. She stepped into the frost. The boy pressed his face to glass. "She can see them." His voice was hush-zone. Paige leaned closer. "See who?" She whispered. He pointed. "The lantern people." Shapes moved beyond the platform, hooded silhouettes bearing hand lamps that glowed teal. "Not warm yellow?" They ringed the knitter, humming. Paige's breath fogged. The door slammed. Train jolted forward. Through the rear window, she watched white feathery snow swallow lantern glow until nothing remained. Back in her seat, Paige exhaled. The boy stroked his stuffed ferret. "One less," he murmured. 7 left. Paige counted passengers, including herself, 7 indeed. Time sewn into a glove. She shook off dread, scribbled notes in her phone's memo app. Unscheduled line, collects people, single drop each stop. She added a reporter's reflex, find conductor. Paige threaded between seats to the front. The algebra man muttered, 2 in, 1 out. Delta always half. The Latin professor corrected red ink on parchment older than she was. Her essays proved to be funeral eulogies in elegiac couplets. In the vestibule, Paige felt a pressure drop. She tugged the next door. It opened onto a second coach-identical layout, yet smelling of fog. Empty, except the conductor standing at the far end, instrumenting levers on a brass panel. "Excuse me," Paige called. "Why didn't the doors open for Dell's Crossing?" He didn't turn. "Ticket decides." "Not passenger." She brandished hers. "Then what does this say?" He glanced. "Joliet via downline." A crooked smile. "You'll know when it's time." Paige's hackles lifted. "Why one drop off?" "The snowblind must leave before the river." He tipped his hat. Conversation over. She pushed further. "Where is Dunham Terminal?" "Beyond the river," he said. "Few go past Whisper Falls." Before she retorted, he vanished into the next car, door sealing. Paige returned, heart hammering. Algebra man spoke aloud. Probability of contiguous survival decreases at geometric rate. He looked at Paige through Coke bottle lenses. "Unless you mean to change the intervals." "What?" "Mirrors invert," he murmured. "A door's a door." He bent back to calculations. Teenagers stirred awake, asked for Wi-Fi. She lied about a router in the next coach. They trudged forward anyway, streaming whispers. Seatback intercom buzzed, next STOP Whisper Falls. The whistle shrieked. The train rolled onto a girder bridge spanning black water. Moonlight revealed rapids twisting, though beyond the windows trees stood still, implying no wind. As they crossed, every electric bulb dimmed. An odor of river mud seeped through vents. Teenagers returned white-faced. No Wi-Fi. Just another empty car and a locked bar. They slid phones into pockets, clasped hands. Paige noticed condensation on panels near the ceiling, words written backwards. "Don't step out if you hear her hair." Water roared louder, yet outside no cataract visible. Then a new sound, WHSSH. Ouijash like rope dragging. The child whispered, "The braid." Professor lifted her eyes. "Cover your ears, darlings." From beneath the coach floor, something coiled groaning wood. Train slowed. Through windows, Paige saw a station floating on stilts above Torrent, a gazebo of iron lattice. No path led ashore. Doors opened. A fragrance of lavender flooded in. The businessman with pocket watch stood, seemingly entranced. From somewhere outside, a woman sang no lyrics, only vowel chimes woven with sobs. A braid of jet black hair swung past the doorway, thicker than anchor chain, scraping steel. The businessman followed, stepping onto braid like a walkway, ignoring screams from teenagers. Paige clutched doorframe as wind convulsed. The braid lifted, snapped skyward, flinging the man into darkness. Doors slammed. Train bolted forward. Something underwater laugh sound carrying through rails. Now 5 passengers remained. Paige vomited into a paper bag, shivering. Later, conductor conducted beverage service, tarnished tea urn, stale biscuits. He poured Paige a cup. River takes the lost, he said, but you still have your name. What are you? She asked, caretaker. He answered. Line's not supposed to run full. Professor recited. Ghost train, ghost fare. Each ticket punched for 2, 1 sold forwards, 1 shunted through. She winked sympathetically at Paige. Balance sheet. Algebra man nudged Paige. We can override at Dunham. Sidetrack the engine. Brake cycle. He produced a rusted switch key. Need engineer's code, plus final passenger count prime. Prime number? Paige asked. He nodded. We're at 5, prime, hold it. Teenagers protested. We just want out, algebra man. If either of you leave before Dunham, we drop to 4. Not prime, cycle continues. Paige grasped glimmer of plan. Keep party intact until terminal, seize control, find daylight exit. Teenagers reluctantly agreed. Paige addressed child. You okay? He stroked ferret. We can't keep him hungry forever, Paige asked who's hungry. The boy touched his own chest. The one that's borrowing me. Chill cracked her resolve. Borrowing you how? He likes my voice, says it's warm. Paige backed away. Algebra man muttered. Function of substitution. Unfinished symbiosis, intercom. Next STOP stretch violet, then glitched, stuttering wee pen hit and cut out. Conductor's face paled, biscuit tray rattled. Stretch violet. Paige repeated. That's not on poster. Schedule shift, conductor murmured, retreating. Stay seated. Outside windows bled violet fluorescence. Fields of lupin glowed ultraviolet, petals whirling as though breathing. Station platform curved like a crescent moonblade. Doors opened, neon fog drifted in. No one moved until the professor rose, papers in hand. I must deliver these elegies, she said gently. Class starts. Paige grabbed her sleeve. Professor smiled. Every teacher wants a timeless classroom, dear. Mine awaits. She walked onto platform. Fog wove around her, forming desks and ghost pupils of violet light. She read, Mors lus tangitor, si scalum per noctem regit. Door thunked shut. Violet world receded. Passengers now 4, not prime. Algebra man's face sank. Teenagers panicked, pounding windows. Child began humming lullaby eerie minor thirds. Ferret's glass eyes gleamed. Paige felt train decelerate. Conductor entered, eyes feverish. Prime lost. We must rebalance. He took out ticket punch. Paige interposed. Can't we replace with crew count? 5 counting you. He shook head. Conductor static, not counted. Algebra man whispered. We need 1 more body before Dunham, or we loop forever. He eyed Paige with apology. Forget it, Paige snapped. Whistle blew. Intercom. Next STOP hollow fen wetland mist surrounded the track. Sluggish lanternflies beat wings. Station sign crooked. Hollow fen pop 0. Doors slid. No knocks, no singing braid. Just the low croak of bullfrogs. Teenagers bolted for exit. Paige yelled, but conductor allowed them. As they stepped onto platform, fog parted, revealing endless marsh, water reflecting starless void. They froze. Conductor swung lantern. You can stay, but the water wants penance. Algebra man shouted to them. Come back, unprime. They hesitated, glimpsing black shapes beneath lily pads. Paige extended hand. Boy offered ferret forward. Its glass eyes pulsed. Paige called, tickets? Teens waved their stubs, identical punch pattern, triangles. Muck bubbled. A pale reed-thin figure rose, wearing decades-old band tee. It croaked teenagers' names, though none given. They screamed, ran back. Doors closed on marsh figure. Passengers 5 again. Prime restored. Conductor smirked. Paige whispered to teens. Stay, no matter what. The boy clapped. Back to 5. You're clever. Paige noticed his ferret skin rippling something inside adjusting fit. Algebra man scribbled frantic algorithms. Train entered mountain tunnel. Lights flickered red. Algebra man beckoned Paige to rear vestibule. Engineer's cab locked beyond baggage car, he said. Code as prime sequence of surviving passengers punched into keyboard at Dunham. 5 digits, 0005 pattern replicated. He handed her the switch key. Why me? Paige asked. My job ends when proof solves, he sighed. He lifted sleeve, skin parchment thin, calculus theorems tattooed into flesh. I'm already notes. Paige swallowed fear. The boy appeared, ferret now limp. He went out, the child whispered. Paige squinted. The ferret's mouth gaped, hollow stuffing leaking. Went where? Paige asked. The boy tilted head. To try a bigger body. Scream echoed forward one teenage girl. Paige sprinted aisle, found teen slumped, eyes glazed, throat bulging. Something squirmed beneath skin. Ferret's bead eyes rolled in her mouth before vanishing. The teen convulsed, then stood puppet-like. She smiled, but eyes stayed glossy. Tickets, please? Voice croaked. Conductor ran in. His lantern light flared green. Parasite breached. He stabbed punch into teen's ticket. 3 new holes burned, searing through paper and flesh. Teen collapsed. Ferret skittered out, fur smoke black. Conductor stomped at stuffing everywhere, but things still twitched until lantern burned it to ash. Teen coughed, alive but traumatized. Conductor clipped new holes in her ticket. No further exchanges, he warned. Passenger count remains 5. Announcement. Unscheduled STOP Whisper Falls. Paige braced the braid siren again. Instead, train halted on trestle above waterfall shimmering moon silver. Miss Rose-like silk scarves. On platform stood violet teacher figure, now transparent, waving exam papers. Professor's voice wafted, attendance still short. Conductor scowled, raised lantern. The apparition dissolved into dew. No doors opened. Algebra man concluded. At Dunham Terminal, entity will demand final balance. We must beat it by seizing engine, switching line to daylight yard. Paige studied train map etched on bulkhead. After Dunham, track split sunlight yard versus downline loop. If we choose sunlight, schedule resets, he said. Ghost line sleeps another decade. Teenage boy, unpossessed, nodded. Let's kill this night. Teenage girl, still shaken, clutched Paige's coat. No more pets. Station loomed. Brutalist concrete arch. Sign cracked. Red lamps flashed terminal. Conductor announced, end of line. Car plunged into cavernous hall. Doors opened. Platform empty, but for a brass keypad on pedestal reading, enter crew passenger prime code. Algebra man pressed digits 0005. Keypad blinked green. Massive iron gate slid, revealing control tracks. He thrust switch key at Paige, coupler bypass in cab. Go. Paige, teens, algebra man dashed across platform. Conductor exclaimed, unauthorized. Lantern flared red. Sudden gale roared lantern people reappeared. Braids snaked from rafters. Marsh figure clawed through grate. Entities converged. Boys shouted, hold prime. Algebra man squared shoulders, faced incoming phantoms. Break the delta, he yelled to Paige. Paige and teens leapt into baggage car. She scrambled to cab, door locked, numeric pad. Remembered ticket punch pattern. 3 holes triangle. She input 33,333. Door hissed open. Inside cab, ghostly engineer in soot-streaked overalls, eyes ember red. He gripped throttle. Paige slammed coupler bypass switch. Lights seared white. Ghost engineer shrieked, vaporized into smoky gears. She yanked sunlight yard lever. Train clanked, reversed with screech. On platform, algebra man grabbed conductor's lantern, smashed it. Lantern people scattered into sparks. Braid writhed, retreating. Conductor evaporated in dust. Algebra man hoisted teens aboard as train rolled. They emerged from tunnel into dawn, Chicago skyline gilded with sunrise. Train coasted onto forgotten siding behind a museum rail exhibit. Track dead ended at chain buffer. Air smelled like bakery rolls. Page's phone chime signal restored. Dozens of missed calls. Passengers stepped onto ballast, stunned. Police later found only a rusted relic of a 1937 Zephyr car, derelict for decades. Inside, 5 modern commuter tickets, punched triangle pattern. Page kept hers. Barcode scanned as invalid. She framed it above her grad school desk. Next to headline, she investigated and published Phantom Commuter Line, Urban Legend, or Rogue Rail. Article ended with a caution. If you ever see a special replacement service notice after midnight, count the travelers before boarding. Make sure the total is prime and pray you all get off together at dawn. Would you board that late night train if it promised to get you home faster, or would you wait for daylight? Comment below. Hit like if this extended journey chilled you, subscribe to DarkNight Whispers, and share it with a friend who still believes ghosts can't keep a timetable. Until next time, listen for a whistle blowing where no track should be,